This is what the revolution in radio sounds like. Everything you want to hear from the voice of Cerritos College, WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob Flores, here at Cerritos College, WPMD Studios, where people make a difference. Now, at this time, I'd like my guest to please introduce himself.
I'm Ruben Cervantes. I'm a certified personal trainer at Lynwood School of Strength.
Excellent. Now, first thing I like to do every time when I have my guest over is I let them start off from the beginning. I like to know, what was high school like? Were you involved in like a sport or were you like in music, or what did you do? What was your interest in high school?
So basically from the beginning of elementary school, I tried to be as active as possible, did a little bit of flag football and stuff like that, but never was able to get into like team sports. So what I did pretty early on was started with Taekwondo, was really heavy into martial arts and a little bit of gymnastics because, watched Power Rangers and stuff. And I really liked, all the martial arts movies, all the Kung Fu movies, really got into it. So from like elementary all the way up to middle school, did mostly martial arts, and then after that in high school kind of dropped martial arts for a while and did like a little bit of the PE stuff, got into running, got into weightlifting, and from there after after the 2 years that were required of physical education, kind of stopped being into the whole physical education stuff and got lazy, got kind of fat.
And then after high school, did you know right away what did you want to do?
No, actually, after high school, I went into, I was a cook at Chuck E. Cheese. So, like everybody else does, I gained a couple pounds, probably 10 to 20 pounds of Chuck E. Cheese pizza. And after that, became a car salesman, actually. And it took me a little while, but after about, I'd say about a year or so, I kind of decided to go into the military. And that was just really on the whim, So it was kind of interesting going from Chuck E. Cheese to car salesman to the military. And like my very first thing that I wanted to do was become a Navy SEAL, because I just wanted to challenge myself. And I thought, whoa, Navy SEALs, they're probably one of the toughest things to ever accomplish, and just decided to do it and joined the military as a master at arms. And I tried pretty much every day of my military, my short 4 years that I was in the military, to train to become a Navy SEAL.
And what was basic training like?
Well, basic training was a shocker. It was very regimented, which I had never been, going from Chuck E. Cheese to car salesman to military. And, when I was in high school, I was actually very anti-authoritarian. So I wasn't a very good student in the sense that I didn't listen to what I was told. So going into the military was a huge shock. And I pretty much every day that I was in the military was a self-challenge to make sure that I did what I was told, that I did the little things perfectly, like, make my bed, my rack. I did washed everything spotless, paid attention to detail, and made some friends, which normally I wasn't very social, even in high school. Made a lot of friends in the military, and it was just a complete 180.
And you've had an inspirational story because you mentioned that your workout, you really like. It's very different from what you do now. The style. Tell us about your story. What happened?
Well, what I was telling you is from the beginning of my military career, my 4 years in the military, I was trying every freaking day to push my body to like the physical conditioning that I believed a Navy SEAL should be able to have, and I had no idea. I didn't know what a Navy SEAL should actually be, and that was my first mistake. So every single day I would work out tough. I would push my body beyond what I ever thought I could ever do. And, I ran like 13 miles a day, beach running. I did like 2 hours of swimming per day. I wasn't a very good swimmer, so I knew that was my weakness. So after about a year or two of really going to the gym 2 hours a day, doing PT with my division, my unit, swimming 2 hours a day, and running about 2 hours a day, and those were my work days. On my off days, I would pretty much double everything up. I pretty much ran my body into the ground. I had overuse injuries where my knees were giving out, my back was giving out, my shoulder was giving out. I was in so much pain that like just turning the car key in my car was difficult. So like I had to tape up my wrists, I had to wear knee wraps, and like knee supporters, back supporters. I was I was like 22 in the body of a 100-year-old. I couldn't do much, and it was all because of the way I was training. So what I do now is I train smarter and not harder. So I take what's needed in whatever my goal is, right? So right now I actually do bodybuilding, right? And I look at what's necessary, what my weaknesses are. I look at what the goals are, and I create a plan, right? I sit down with myself, and I create objectives, a schedule. I create a program that is not just that works, but is practical for myself and my schedule. And I have to have a little bit of a social life. I do have a girlfriend, so I make sure that everything in my life fits versus just going hard in one aspect of life and pretty much paralyzing myself like I did back then.
And what did you do to heal from all the pain you were feeling?
Well, that was pretty interesting. It was a pretty cool comeback story. After I actually got out of the military because I was suffering from so much pain. I could barely perform in my jobs. My back pain, my knee pain, my shoulder pain was so bad. I even have a 10% disability with my wrist because of everything I did. So after getting out, I decided to learn. So I became a certified personal trainer, and I got certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And one of the biggest things they talk about is progressive exercise cycle. So going through stability, paying attention to the small muscles, and learning how to stabilize your body through like static and dynamic movement. So if I'm in a squat, I'm able to stabilize my body without any weight and actually able to move with good movement, not just going through the movements to do the squat, you know. So I learned about stability muscles. I learned about rehabilitation or prehabilitation techniques such as foam rolling, dynamic stretches, static stretches, when to use them, when not to use them, proper warm-ups and stuff like that. And, you know, within about 4 or 5 months of learning and actually becoming a certified personal trainer and using the techniques in my workout, I ended up feeling pretty good. And I I did my first mud run about 3 or 4 months after I got out of the military and got my certification. Did my mud run, and I felt like super accomplished. It was amazing because I had been in such a funk because I was super soldier, and broken man, and now I'm finally like living the life I used to live without the pain that I had before, you know? And it was actually very amazing, at least to me.
Hold on, we'll be right back after this quick break.
Everybody, I'm Casey Petrowski. For more years than most of us can remember, the amazing story of the Beatles has been unfolding in front of us. A fascinating, one-of-a-kind story that we look at bit by bit on The Beatles Show. And we give it to you 8 days a week here on WPMD.
Pre-recorded one,
Episodes
then I
every
read
Tuesday
that.
night, 8 Pacific, classic episodes every morning at 8
Another
Pacific.
one of those
Hear what all the media for the
pre-recorded
last
things.
50 years has been about. Join us for The Beatles Show here on WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
Rock's greatest acts have given us literally hundreds of great albums, and we bring a different one of them to you every night at midnight Pacific on WPMD Album Break. The greatest titles, and not just the biggest hits, all from members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, are played all the way through with virtually no interruption to give you a non-stop listen to the best of rock music has given us. Remember, a new day begins with the album break every night at midnight Pacific, only on WPMD, where people make a difference.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's, and Josh, you're going to soccer, Dad. Soccer practice. Right.
Why does it sound so low?
I just want to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing short shorts. Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do a dad dance for all your friends. I'll do it.
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See how that goes.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance one more time.
Don't you to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob Flores, here on WPMD, Cerritos College, where people make a difference. So I'm back here with my guest, and you mentioned that you had a passion also for martial arts. Tell me, who have been your inspirations for physical fitness, and who's your favorite Power Ranger too?
Well, so my favorite Power Ranger is the Green Ranger, Tommy. That's actually one of the biggest reasons why I got into martial arts first, and that Hercules, the one with Kevin Serbo, was actually pretty cool too. I actually met him at one of my first bodybuilding competition at a fitness expo at the LA Fitness Expo, which is really cool. Got a lot of supplements and stuff like that. And met him and got to shake his hand, tell him, he was one of the biggest reasons why I got into fitness in the beginning. So that was actually a pretty cool thing. But yeah, Power Rangers, and the whole like Pink Ranger and the gymnastics thing, I was really like interested in that, and me and my friends would always like play around, try to reproduce some of the martial arts stuff, the gymnastic moves, and I was really good at like doing handstands and some of the stuff on the bars, which I don't think they even have that stuff at our elementary school anymore. But it was awesome, and I have fond memories of playing tag and kicking butt on the elementary school field, and from there, who else? Bruce Lee, of course. I still at least listen to one video with him, saying like water, my friends, stuff like that. I watch a lot of martial arts movies, like Donnie Yen stuff, like Ip Man. Haven't seen Ip Man 3 yet, but looking forward to it. I actually have the pleasure and luck to have a lot of my friends being some of the fitness inspirations that I used to have as a up and coming personal trainer as well. So like somebody like Mark Chang, which is kettlebell. He has a Beachbody video out called Tai Chang. Philip Till, which he's a French ninja. He's got a degree in ninjutsu, so he's actually pretty cool. He's actually has a couple books out on Kindle right now with some of the cool philosophies that we do in our gym. Who else? I do a lot of barefoot running, so one of my friends, Ron Jones, he's an inspiration to me as well. I don't know, it's hard to kind of pinpoint all your inspirations, especially when there's so many of them, and you're lucky enough to have a lot of them as friends.
Cool. And when you decided to join the military, like, do you have siblings, and like, how did your parents react?
Oh, well, I do have siblings. I'm the middle boy, so I have two brothers. I have a older brother, a younger brother. My older brother is a videographer, and my younger brother is an intellectual. He's actually in New York right now. I think he's getting his PhD in some kind of physics thing. Very proud of him. He's graduated from MIT with his bachelor's, and he's pursuing his PhD right now in a science that is still in development. It's so amazing. And I'm just very proud of him. My older brother, he's got a huge family. Myself, I'm single. I do have a sister as well. We all have very different likes and dislikes, and none of them are into fitness. I'm the only one that did kind of pursue something in a physical kind of aspect. But they've all been very physical. I don't really see what I'm doing right now as a personal trainer or as an owner of a gym in a physical way. I think of it more as almost like a social work, because I'm helping people, I'm empowering people, I'm educating people. I don't really see it as I'm just the buff bro in the gym trying to help somebody get yoked or lose a couple pounds. You know, I really see it as an opportunity to help somebody who doesn't have answers, to lead them, to guide them, in like an aspect of life that they have no idea about. And from there, they gain a confidence that can be transferred into the rest of their life. You know, one of my biggest and most rewarding clients and friends was a guy by the name of Edgar. He was a great guy, very smart. He did computer science, and he's all into computers and stuff. he had a website since he was in high school, and this was like before everybody had Facebook, and this was like MySpace time, you know. So he had a website, and I would always kind of bully him as a kid and make fun of his weight and stuff like that. But by the time we graduated high school, we were friends, and when I went into the military, he actually gained almost like 200 pounds. So he was already pretty overweight when we were in high school. He was like 250-ish pounds or something like that. And by the time I got back from the military, he was 400 plus pounds, you know. And he's not much bigger than I am, or much bigger than you are, you know. He's like 5'7" and 400 plus pounds. We didn't even weigh him because we didn't have a scale to that capacity. And it was something that I had to talk to him about, and I told him, you know, I'm going into this career. I was becoming a certified personal trainer, and I decided to pursue that as a career. And I told him, look, I can't be your friend and allow you to continue to live the way you're living, you know, drinking Coke and fast food all the time, going to eat pizza with you and stuff like that. And I offered him a way out. I said, hey, would you be my first personal training client? And from there, we actually developed a professional relationship, and he did everything I told him to do. He followed the nutritional plan, which was a very progressive plan. We didn't go from a Coke a day and a whole medium Little Caesars $5 pizza every single day to you know, salads and chicken breasts the next day, which I eat a lot of food. You know, I don't condone a one food diet, you know, but I got him off the soda, got him to drink more water. He kept all his eating habits. As soon as he lost a little bit of weight, we started incrementally changing up the way he ate. You know, had one bad meal a day versus every single meal. We introduced more vegetables. He hated vegetables. The most vegetable he would have was ketchup on his Big Mac or something like that, you know. And, you know, introduced broccoli, asparagus. This was like a 3-year endeavor, you know. It didn't go from 1 month to the next, I mean bad to I mean good. It was even by the time, like a year into it, he was 300, from 400 pounds to 300 pounds. We had a celebration dinner over here at Mario's, and I told him there, I said, this is the last celebration dinner, you know. And I told him I didn't want him to celebrate with food anymore, because that was a big reason why he was so big. And after that, it was kind of downhill, and he got down to 200 pounds, and he actually won quite a bit of money from a weight loss competition, which he won like $10,000. So it was pretty cool. He bought a Mustang with that money, and that was like my first experience with somebody who had really changed his life around. And from there, he like gained the confidence from working in the student store in Long Beach, Cal State Long Beach, to getting a job at Cisco, to now he lives in Georgia, and he's a full-time. I don't even know what he does, but he gets paid a lot of money. So I like to think that maybe if he hadn't changed his life around, he'd be in a totally different situation, and that I helped him gain the confidence and the power to really make the most out of everything in his life.
Are there things you don't eat at all anymore?
No, I have a very flexible diet. I make sure that that I know what I'm eating. People say they watch what they eat. I watch what I eat, even when it's a pizza. I try not to go out a lot, but mainly it's because I know how to cook and I like my own cooking. But I eat everything. I eat pizza. I eat burritos. One of my favorite foods is burritos and pizza, and I do that on a regular basis. But most of the time, I'm eating home-cooked chicken breast. I have broccoli and asparagus, cauliflower, tons of veggies with most of my meals. I don't limit myself. I'm very happy with the way I eat, and when I decide, like, whenever I go to like a bodybuilding competition or something like that, that I plan out my diet well within a whole year before. I say, okay, in June or July, or like right now, I'm thinking maybe I want to compete in March of next year. And I kind of know when I'm a plan to start dieting down and get off some of this winter weight. And I plan out everything from 9 months out to 6 months out to 3 months out. And every quarter, I kind of get a little stricter with my meals. I get a little stricter with the selection of food, with what I don't eat, which of course is like pizza, burritos, and then I start sticking to cleaner eating, such as like chicken breast. I cook most of my food on the barbecue grill. I bake it. I stick to chicken breast, fish. I still have like red meat most of the time, unless it's like 3 to 4 months before a competition. But because I've educated myself on nutrition and my body and what I can and I can't eat, I know when it's appropriate. So everything is a very calculated thing when it comes to my diet.
And for those that haven't ever seen what a bodybuilding competition is like, what do they judge you on, and like what are like the rules and stuff?
Well, a lot of it's about like muscle tone, conditioning, body fat percentage. Muscle size is a factor, but most of that is like about symmetry. So if you have like really big biceps, but you don't have good shoulders, then it's not very aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't fit together. If you have a big chest but puny arms, then it doesn't fit together. If you have a big upper body but a small lower body, people talk about don't skip leg day, stuff like that. So It gets different for a lot of different people. Some people go hard in the gym 7 days a week, and they have some very isolated split routines where they're doing just biceps in the gym, or just triceps in the gym, or shoulders or back or legs or whatever it may be. Some people have compound split routines, so they may do chest and back, or back and biceps, or back and triceps, or everybody does things differently. And for the most part, what I tell people is you just have to have a system, and the system is about making sure that you pay attention to what works, do that, and you pay attention to what doesn't work and try to eliminate that, and we have to be mindful and value our time. So if we could be in the gym for 2 to 3 hours, then fine, that's cool. But a lot of people don't have that kind of time. So you want to do what gives you the most bang for your buck, doing compound movements such as like bench pressing, heavy squatting, deadlifting, stuff like that, and not just stick to very isolated movements like curls and tricep extensions, tricep push downs when you're skipping leg day, So and obviously it's different for different people. So you do what works and don't do what doesn't work. I know it sounds kind of simple, but that's the truth,
And like in the competitions, like do they have? Because I'm imagining like you've seen wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Remember Scott Steiner?
No, not at all. I'm not that.
Triple H.
Okay.
Okay, well, there was this big guy where he would wear, like, this night chain thing on his head, and he'd be doing these poses and stuff. And, like, they had this competition where they had to, like, brrr, like, in, like, different ways. Is that what you guys have to do? Like,
Well, yeah. So the physicality of bodybuilding is one aspect of it. So the way you look is one aspect. However, with posing, it's like an art form. So you could work all year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years in the gym, and get this great physique, but be horrible at posing and come out and last in a bodybuilding competition, because it's the way you use your muscles too, right? The way you pose can accentuate your strengths and kind of hide your weaknesses, right? So if you have like kind of small legs, there are ways to kind of pose where your legs look bigger, and there are ways to move and tighten up and suck things in and push things out where